welcome to the latest episode of Nerds with Attitude podcast.
Happy New Year!
What's up, everybody? Happy January. As we record this, it's our first little group together for the new 2018 season of Nerds with Attitude podcast.
Wow. That's right. I
And
didn't know I've
We've
been
been
on
on
the
the
air
air
for
for
18 years, guys.
I know.
Amazing. Isn't it great? We've been together this 18 years.
I know. Soon our podcast will be moving out, getting its own place, and then we'll just come visit on the holidays, and then that,
Won't call for your birthday anymore.
So we are totally freeballing this time with no show notes. So we're just gonna kind of wing it. We got through the holiday. What do you call that thing? Were you
Clusterfuck?
No, gauntlet. And we all came out the other side. So I thought we'd just kind of get together and see
Some
what you
came out
guys.
the front, others came out the back.
Look, we got through it.
Did you ever
That's
play
what's
Gauntlet?
important.
It's better
You ever
than
play
the
Gauntlet
upside
video
down.
game? Oh, yeah. It's a
Oh
good
my
game.
God! To this day, I'm still like, Green Archer needs food badly, and my wife's looking at me like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I want a fucking sandwich."
I love that game.
Food is good.
Right? That's Robert. Anyway, so welcome. I am Kevin.
It's Migs.
Robert.
Dave's here.
And Brian B. How are you? Good to see you.
And
Love
thank
You're
you
looking good.
for those of you who are watching us on YouTube. Welcome. Thank you for watching. Those of you who have subscribed to us through iTunes or Stitcher or any of those other platforms, thank you for subscribing.
Thank you very much.
Please tell your friends. Bombard them with like this page requests through social media. But
we're just going to have to do it for you, and that's not going to be very pretty.
I have a door-to-door method where I'm just, do you ever see Jane Silent Bob Strike Back?
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
where they win all the money and then they just go find all the haters on the internet one by one. And did you say that'd be me? I seriously I'd hold people accountable on the internet. So, what'd you guys do for Christmas or New Year's, Miguel?
Absolutely nothing. Stayed home.
You did not. Did you fire off any handguns or light munitions on New Year's Eve?
No, but I did stay underneath the table.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea to take cover on New Year's Eve in certain neighborhoods.
Hey, I grew up in Pomona. I know the drill.
Those
People
aren't fireworks.
where I live, there's a bunch of dry hills, and people were setting off fireworks and set the hill on fire.
Ooh.
So New Year's Day, I was driving and coming back, and the whole side of the road itself, and then going up the side of the mountain was all that pink fire retardant. I've never seen it in person like that. It drenched everything. I was like, looks like one hell of a paintball game took place. What would you guys anything?
So I watched the new. It's out on Blu-ray now, but the new Turtles movie. I don't know, Out of the Shadows, Out of Time, Out of something.
The Michael Bay one?
Out of
With,
ideas.
With Krang.
You're talking about the live action?
Yeah, the live
Yeah,
action
the
one.
Bay Turtles.
Yeah, it was actually pretty decent movie.
Like
way
2 years
better.
too late.
Way better than the other one.
I agree. It still lost my attention most of the way through it, but it was much better than the first one. It had some good humor. It had some good sequences that were in it. Shredder was a nightmare at the end of it on that rooftop scene, but that was the second one, right?
No, maybe not.
Was that the
No,
first
that
one?
was the first one.
The first one, there was a
They're all
rooftop and
blurred
Shredder,
together.
but
Oh no,
I think-
Kang had it was like an alien fight in the sky or
It's
something,
like a
right?
brain in his stomach. Yeah.
Crane.
Yeah.
Crane.
Crank. I don't know. Whatever.
That metal
Crank.
wood.
Crank.
Whatever.
Oh, Jason
That's
Statham and
right,
Crank.
guys.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Not a Turtles guy.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I love Voltron way more.
There's a little too much sexuality towards April O'Neil from the Turtles. I almost said tigers.
And then I got to give props to my mom, who is not a toy collector, has no idea about anything G.I. Joe, but for Christmas, and my birthday was in December, she hit up a couple of antique shows on one of her road trips and bought me a whole bunch of older 1990s and 2000s G.I. Joes, Spy Troops, and stuff like that, which I was like, oh, okay, but that was pretty cool. So I actually got G.I. Joes for my birthday and
Nice.
Christmas this year.
I got G.I. Joes for my birthday too. My parents hooked me up with the Command 3-pack from Retaliation. It's the Speed Metal and Lieutenant Stone and Grunt.
That's a good pack.
I love them. The camo on them looks great, but it was nice. Like, of all the things on my wish list and the different things, my parents picked that to send me. So it was nice getting G.I. Joes from your parents. It's pretty cool, and they
Yeah,
kind
it
of surprise you.
Sweet.
Dave.
Stayed home with the kids and just did presents with them. I got the Playmobil Ghostbusters Ecto 1. That
Yeah,
was
you did.
pretty darn cool, man.
That is a great car.
Yeah.
Totally jelly.
And I did for G.I. Joe. I did find the just 1 2-pack at Ross.
Which one?
The Viper IG.
Oh, that's not a bad one.
No, it's not a bad one. That's all I found though.
A couple of years ago, when they did the comic 2-packs, I hit a Marshalls, I think, just at the right time, and they had a stack of the IG Viper ones, and they were clearance for $5. Thank you. Just took them all, and Army built them.
Yeah.
Because man, that Viper, man, it's my favorite.
Yeah, I wanted to find the Storm Shadow Snake Eyes pack because I never got that pack. But...
I don't think I ever even saw that in the wild at Toys R Us.
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean.
I
Like,
found it
right,
once in the wild.
yeah.
I have those figures from the previous
Same.
waves, but just to get that one, I never got it.
All right. You do anything for New Year's or
Negative. Stayed home with the kids.
nice?
Yes.
Brian,
Pretty laid back. Unfortunately, Christmas, we always have to go everywhere on the planet. So we have to go from, like, all the way
China?
to Huntington Beach, all the way to...
you got to do the split
desert.
family time.
Yeah, and then we actually went to
Bitch.
the desert, my sisters, and her, and her. My wife's families for Christmas Day.
My wife.
My wife, she's very nice. We went to hers, so it was just like, it was not relaxing. We were just bouncing everywhere, and it was New Year's. We're just like, cool. We're just gonna sit right here.
Nice.
We're going nowhere.
What did you guys just came back from like some whirlwind drunken debauchery in Vegas?
Oh
right?
yeah. We went
What
up
was
to
that
Vegas.
about? I didn't even know you
that
were
was-
headed out there.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. We found out that Sarah's brother, we'll just keep it simple, met his 2 of his sons for the first time.
Okay.
And so it was a mini family reunion. So we had a bunch of us all just head out there and meet them for the first time. And it was all good. We had a good time.
Nice.
Ended up my friend Beth, who listens and subscribes.
Hi, Beth.
Hi, Beth.
Hello.
She was actually she was one of my first internet friends on AOL.
What?
Yeah, we were on AOL.
buddy list?
My buddy list. And she was on
You've got
we were in an alt horror chat room way back when, 1997.
You were
We
in
just
a
became
horror chat
friends.
room? What?
Horror chat room.
horror.
No, that's the internet now is just all
Yeah,
horror chat rooms.
Now it's all horror chat.
Horror chats.
But yeah, we met and we hung out. We've been friends ever since. You know,
Nice,
just online.
fantastic.
She came out in 2003, 2004, and hung out with us for Halloween, and haven't just kept in touch. And when she was out there, we're like, "Hey, works perfect." So we hung out for an evening and got really, really, really inebriated.
Yes, you did.
Then what
Ubers are
happened?
great. I got to tell you, Ubers are amazing.
And then
Well, isn't like Vegas now with the parking situation in Vegas? Aren't they sort of encouraging you to take paid rides to get around?
Yeah, because there's no free parking anymore apparently. But our hotel had free parking, so we just parked it.
Right.
And anywhere we were right
It's
there.
usually
on
free
Fremont.
if you're staying in the hotel.
Yeah,
but it used to
if
be
you're gonna
free if you just
drive
wanted to go.
around
Yeah.
And, yeah, they don't do that anymore. That was just kind of silly.
Does it cut down on traffic at all, or is it still a gridlock nightmare?
No, it's a gridlock nightmare down there always.
Yeah.
Between the hobos dancing in the streets. And,
let's walk the scrap. Let's walk the scrap. Woo! Boobies.
And fuckers with the cards. Flick,
yeah,
flick, flick, flick.
they don't do that anymore.
Oh, really?
I've not seen that in the last couple times we've been there.
Man.
I mean,
My only
even
problem
when we went, I didn't even see it.
Well, the problem with that was that everybody would take the card, then immediately throw it on the ground. So
Mm-hmm.
now the sidewalk is littered with these glossy,
slippery.
slippery, trading cards of porn. Like it's very dangerous.
And I never got to get one of those girls. I mean, I called him, but it was never her.
Mm,
It sucked.
I know, right?
Terrible.
Stupid false
Stupid,
advertising.
Dumb stupidness.
Anybody get anything other than me and Robert? Anybody get anything good for Christmas? You want to brag about?
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Not that I can
We
talk
didn't-
about.
we're not-
Boring
this-
nerds.
Since we're moving, we're not getting anything.
That's
We're
true.
gonna
You're doing a
wait.
giant purge.
We're purging everything, not getting everything. I still
not
buy stuff,
moving.
but I should.
You're not moving.
I'll tell it to my house.
I know. Brian and reservist member Gary, you guys are going to start your NWA East podcast,
And we'll chime in.
We're gonna fight.
right? We just talked about
East
how,
versus West tonight on Nerds with Attitude.
you're just gonna get together and talk about beer and how cold it is.
Yeah.
That'll be it for every episode.
And whose beard is longer this time?
Beards, yeah. Well, since Brian, we're talking about talking to you and about
Hi.
you.
What's up?
That's the worst transition ever. But it's left in, so suck it.
No.
So you decided to keep
On
it
your
there.
way to Vegas, did you hit any rest stops?
What? That's how a professional does it. God damn it.
Oh, that's how you do it.
Hey, to give Miguel a raise.
Surprisingly enough, there was a rest stop that was the exact same as the picture I made for the rest stop.
Really?
With
The
the
sign
sign
covered in
The
blood.
big, there's that big saying blue sign that says rest area because little nugget. If you look, none of the signs say rest stop.
Uh-huh.
Right.
You will never see one that says rest stop unless it's like some, Judy's rest stop or
Right.
something like
It's
that.
not PC.
Is that why? So I don't know where he got rest stop. Stephen King, by the
Right.
way. Stephen King. Yeah, this name
Well,
drop. My buddy.
Back us up while we're talking about rest stops. You, I think, mentioned a couple episodes ago that you're doing a short film.
Yes, we have got the rights to a Stephen King short film called Rest Stop.
Little
So-
nugget for you. There aren't
little-
actually any. Sorry, go ahead.
Rewind, play. Yeah, what it is it's a short film about a guy who encounters something at a rest stop and has to decide what he needs to do. And it's a little more psychological than that. It goes a little bit deeper in that. So we ended up our buddy Paul has written a script for it. So it takes the story and kind of tweaks it just a little bit, but it's still the same story.
Sure.
And it's great. So we ended up saying we were working on another film up in the mountains in August, and we're like, you know what, we need to just do something on our own because we were just cast and crew.
Yeah.
I was working on effects, I was doing fake blood and scars and stuff like that, and so we decided to say, you know what, the guy said, why don't we do this ourselves? Doesn't one of you guys have the rights to Stephen King things? Yeah. So long story short, ended up ended up getting the rights again. Had it, kept it, and so we did a crowdfunding. Crowdfunding was 45 days or so, and we did it.
Yeah, you met your funding goals. So congratulations.
So
So what's the next step?
next step?
Embezzlement,
is-
but then after
well,
that,
yeah, well, of course, yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't be Hollywood if it wasn't. We are actually doing casting right now.
okay,
So we've got one of the main leads cast. We've got the main guy who was in the other film that we were working on, Greg Lee. Greg Lee was the host. Yikes. Greg Lee was the host of Where in the World's Carmen San Diego. I think I mentioned that. He's a really great guy, really really smart, really good actor. So he's going to be our lead.
okay.
He's going to be our I can't remember his name. Dykstra is the last name. And so he's in that. We're working on trying to get
40-something portly nerd.
Right? Well, no, you guys, don't worry about it. You guys will be there. Don't worry about
How
it.
many dead bodies do you need in Transformer T-shirts?
Yeah, no dead bodies. There's no dead bodies in this. Believe it or not. It's psychological.
How many guys do you need at the urinal?
I know. Yeah.
Now, are you doing practical or CG giant space spider for the?
Oh yeah, it's a
for the-
CG
at the
space spider
end,
for
at the
sure.
end?
Yeah, I can't. I don't have enough pipe cleaners to twist together and get that done. But
So you're still doing casting? All right.
yeah, we're doing casting. Man, Amanda Weiss, I believe is her name. She played Tina from the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Awesome.
Okay.
Tina.
Awesome.
And she's in the running still. We're talking to her agent. And all
Her
that
people.
her people. And now that we're greenlit, it's probably going to be a go.
Nice.
So she's going to be in there. So yeah, we're excited, man. We're really ready to go.
Fantastic. Well, keep us. We'll keep pimping out the links for it.
For
and,
sure,
and
yeah.
sharing
We'll
the
put them in the
pages
show
and-
notes here in the YouTube, and we'll put them in the show notes for the podcast, and you guys can come take a look, see what you think.
Right on. And it's
Swedish.
called Rest Stop.
Rest.
How's it going to be available after it's completed?
Pay-per-view only. No. What we're actually going to be
Hotel rooms near you.
doing, yeah. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing the film fest basically. So it's going to go do the rounds in the film fest. We'll see how it does, and then hopefully drum up funding for another feature. The main idea here is we're thinking we can take this and spin it into an anthology.
Okay.
Anthologies are real big right now.
Sure.
So if we can do an anthology with Rest Stop, 2, 1, 2, 3 other stories and compile it and then release it.
So other
As a
like
full
scenic
feature.
places along highways that people want to stop and like Vista View and no, nothing like that.
It's rest
Yeah.
stops.
Yeah, that would be. We'll just call it the road trip pack and Rest Stop. a candy shop.
Rest stops.
So you'd have to-
urinal.
You have to get rights to other Stephen King
Tourist
short
traps.
stories, then, right?
Well, don't necessarily have to. I mean, we have. Yeah, we can just say F you. No, we have other stories in our bank. We have a bank of stories. So if anybody else wants to send them to us, we'll have that link in the.
Hold on, let me go to Starbucks real quick.
I got one.
All right.
It's called Passing Lane 2 Miles Ahead.
Yeah.
And then there's its
then
sequel, Slower
Asshole
Traffic,
in a Mustang.
Stay to the Right. And,
Not Scott. Scott's a good driver.
Construction zone porta potty.
Scott has a Mustang. We love you, Scott.
this is Scott listening right now. How the fuck did I get thrown into this? Hi, Scott.
How's your fever?
Man, that poor guy has
I
been
know,
sick
seriously.
for like a week and a half with
never-
the plague going around.
Need
So,
to drink some green milk.
Blue milk.
all right.
Green.
Everyone here has seen Star Wars,
Yes,
The Last Jedi, correct?
Yep.
All right. So, Miguel, you were the last holdout to finally make time to go see it. Let's keep it simple. Out of 10 lightsabers, how many would you give it?
6.
Okay. That seems low.
Okay.
But you're not always
He's
a
not-
huge Star Wars fan to
no.
begin with. So.
Exactly.
All right, I would give it. I'd give it a solid 9. I really, really liked it.
Ouch! Wow. No, I wouldn't do that.
All right, well, all right. How many lightsabers?
7, 7.5.
Okay, Robert.
tough.
In between 9 and 10.
It was good,
Really?
right? Definitely wasn't perfect. That's why I can't get the 10. but
That's exactly why I can't give it
So,
any
Dave?
higher.
I've only seen it the once. And
how many midichlorians would you give it?
0.
Zero.
I've only seen it once. And
Okay.
They say you see it more times, the better it gets.
And it's absolutely
I thought
true.
it was a 7, 8.
Okay.
You know, I enjoyed it.
Okay, can I bring something up real quick?
I have an argument against everybody's arguments for what they don't like about it. So you go.
This is stupid. This is trivial. This is a little nugget.
Or we'll
I-
do Brian's Nuggets
Well,
later.
Just 1 second.
This is a Brian's Nugget preview.
Maz.
It's like
when we
one
saw
ball
Maz
hanging
fighting
out.
and talking.
Yeah.
You know, in that little bubble, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
Was that not the Rocketeer backpack she was wearing?
Oh, you know what? It went so
Seriously,
quick I didn't even
looked
look
at
at
it.
it.
I'm like, dude, that's the Rocketeer backpack.
Could be.
Are you kidding me? I'm like,
Props to the
Disney,
Rocketeer.
damn you.
Is Rocketeer Disney?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
it
big
could
time.
be.
And so I was like, oh, what is it? And I asked somebody, he said, oh, it's closed, but it's not the real thing. And I'm like, come on, this pulled me out of the movie. Like, oh,
So,
I did enjoy the first running joke of the film. The long.
Oh, that's
it was funny.
hilarious.
it was hilarious,
funny.
but
The whole
like
thing
it
was
needed
funny.
one beat.
No,
and that's it.
no, it was
I
good.
think it went 1 too minute.
No.
I did
It-
because
it-
I do it.
It
I
dragged
defend
a little.
it.
yeah.
I really enjoyed
I loved
that, but I think it went 1 too many.
Yeah.
The whole punchline was, "It's about your mom." Like that was the whole punchline. So it had to go that far.
It was funny.
The Porgs originally, when I saw it the first time, I'll admit I was too emotionally wrapped up in taking in all this new Star Wars information, and the Porgs were completely in the way. Like, get these fucking things out of my way. I'm trying to watch Star Wars. On a second viewing, now I know what all this information is. I'm not taking it in for the first time, being surprised by it. I was able to appreciate the Porgs more on the second time, and thought, okay, they're kind of cute, and I like them.
How about the island nuns?
I thought the island fish nuns were completely unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary, but hilarious.
Yeah,
Here's-
they're okay.
Had some funny moments.
Here's a Brian's nugget for you. The
We're taking your nuggets now.
the island that they filmed on was completely covered in puffins.
Yep.
I think that's the right word for it, the
Yep.
birds, right? And they thought it would be easier rather than paint them all out to just paint on top of them and turn them into porgs.
That's cool.
So on
Why
like
not?
wide shots, when you see all the birds flying around and stuff, those birds were actually there. They just made them all porgs, and because they were in all the shots and all that, they just CG'd over them and made them porgs.
Pornography.
Yeah.
So are you looking for things that you don't like about the movie, or
Well, I want to hear
The
like
use
what did
of
you?
the word laser sword? I didn't like that.
That's been used a couple of
That
times.
goes way back to the original.
But
scripts.
that's not how Luke was taught the word. He was taught it was a
He was
lightsaber.
This is
very
your father's
dismissive
lightsaber.
and like, don't bother me.
Yeah, he was grumpy.
That's okay.
so I have a theory.
Yeah.
That when Yoda trains Luke, and this is one of the reasons why I love the scene with Yoda, when Yoda trains Luke, he tells him everything to do. So here's what you need to do. You need to run. You need to do this. Don't go in there. You don't need to go into that cave. You're not going to find anything. So he kind of trains him what to do. When Luke is training Rey, he's really training her what not to do. So Rey's learning from, and this kind of culminates when Yoda talks to Luke about, being a failure, and that's the only thing you could have taught Rey is how to deal with failure. So everything Luke's teaching her, she's like, I'm not listening to you, you old fart, you don't know anything, and then the whole movie is about him saying, oh, well, the Force isn't about lifting rocks. Then what does she need to do? She needs to lift rocks.
Yep.
Like, so
That's good.
I think what Luke was doing in everything is, whether he was doing it intentionally or not, I don't know, you can fight about that, was simply teaching Rey what not to do, and that's why she becomes whatever you want to call her, the Last Jedi, the last whatever prodigy.
Okay, it's been out long enough. There's some spoilers in this.
Sorry, spoilers.
No, I'm
Screw
just
it.
saying,
It's about time.
with Luke gone, she now becomes the last Jedi.
So I really like the fact that
What
Luke
are
was
you
just
groaning
like,
for?
Screw this Jedi stuff.
Broom kid?
Screw you. I'm not going to teach you. Now, that is my one complaint about the whole movie is frickin' Mary Poppins Leia.
Okay,
That bugged me
I
too.
agree on that.
And-
I was like, what the hell?
and I agree in the execution of it. I thought of everything.
Horrible film.
It looked bad. They could have dealt with her getting injured in a different way rather than her Force pulling herself from
Yeah,
space.
instead of just some
But I mean,
angelic.
But
That
she's
same
not a Jedi, right?
Well, no, but she's very strong with the Force. That same maneuver was used in Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah.
Just hanging out in space,
Yeah.
not dying. So I mean, it's exactly the same way, but it just because of the dress and the way she moved,
Yeah.
and it was executed poorly. They could have gotten her injured and out of the bulk of the film.
I don't mind the concept
different
of
way.
she gets blown out into space and then she force pulls herself. Like the concept of that,
but the
that-
execution was
that,
sloppy.
like,
it was way
30
sloppy. I agree.
seconds of film was and that was the only part of the film I've seen it a couple times where where when I went back and saw it, it was even worse than the first.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what?
The
I'm not
second
gonna
time,
argue.
I was like, oh,
I'm
I gotta
gonna
close
go with
my
that.
eyes. The rest of the movie, like you said, second time saw it, it was even better. The whole scene with Luke going out against
No, that's a new
Imperials.
move, right? That force projection. What is it called? Do you even know what it's called?
Basically, it's like astral
much-
projection.
Yeah,
Mind
in front
fucking
of your
people.
mind. That's a new power, basically, right?
Yeah.
Well, that we've seen. I
That
mean,
we've
it's
seen,
probably
right.
been around. But
And that's what Rey was doing with Kylo.
We've only had
and that's what
37
Luke did at the
movies,
end.
guys. I mean, we haven't had time to actually.
But I'm assuming you could only do it on that rock.
No, it's in book 569
No.
from the Force of the Jedi Destiny.
It doesn't have anything to do with on being on the rock. It just has to do
Snoke
with
did it.
taking a ton of your energy to project yourself. Because you look at how no, those don't exist. But I mean, you look at how
Those
tired
aren't canon.
when, after
he said when she got there, I'm old, I'm dying. I mean, to me, that was his last hurrah
No.
before he went into the Force.
That was
or-
just no. Because I had a conversation with Scott because I said it would have been a perfect ending, because when they're saving everybody from the cave, they found the back way out,
right.
and Rey was there, and she gave Leia. They gave each other that look, and they gave each other that look the same time that Luke disappeared.
They
I would
knew.
have said that would have been nice if Leia disappeared too, but Scott was
There'd
saying,
be no
well, you
reason
gotta,
for it.
why would she?
Why not?
Well, because
It is-
if you look at like when Obi-Wan died, right?
Right.
Obi-Wan had his Jedi path, which everything that he went through the Clone Wars and then finding Luke and training him, Obi-Wan's ultimate goal was to get Luke
Sure.
Balance to the fold.
inspired to go on to be the next
And that's-
great Jedi.
yeah, that's pretty much
and in fighting Vader, Obi-Wan sees that Luke sees him and that Luke will be inspired by what is going to transpire. So that's why Obi-Wan allows himself to be struck and he just vanishes because he
was preparing himself.
he's
preparing
fulfilled his
himself, right.
Force destiny.
Purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His purpose. Thank you. So I think Luke, at the same way, was like, okay, I've done my Force purpose in inspiring, Rey and inspiring the rebels to do their thing, getting Kylo to
The spark.
fucking put up or shut up, and once he succeeded in his purpose, he vanishes into the Force.
You think Luke kind of redeemed himself at the end, right there, instead of being like a weenie
100%.
during the training? You think so?
I don't think he was a weenie during the training.
He was just.
I think he was just like, I ain't doing this crap.
Yeah.
Well, I think the information is given to you also, like when you see sort of Luke's side, Kylo's
Versus
side,
Kylo,
and the truth sort of the middle. He in his own way like fucked over his sister and best friend's son. you know, by trying to kill him. Like, everything fell apart that he was trying to do. So he's just like, fuck it, I want to have no part of it anymore because I'm a failure. It doesn't turn out right. I'm just, leave me alone and let me die. I'm done with the Force. A lot of it has to do with
his what was the word he used? When they're sitting there in front of the symbol on the floor. His hubris. And how I'm a damn legend. You got it. I'm Luke Skywalker. And how he let that get to him.
Right.
And that's where he's like, well, I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm going to have to kill him because I see something bad in him. And then he realizes, oh, shit, I let this go way too fucking far in my head.
It was just
and then he's, at that moment, it's too late.
Now, does it bother you that there's no more Skywalkers in this?
Not a bit.
No.
This story's supposed to be about the Skywalkers.
I think the Skywalker saga has totally played out, and Episode 9 can finally wrap up. Not only wrap up any Skywalker storyline, because you still have Ben Solo, which is still is still blood to the Skywalker line. But I think, he'll probably die at the end of Episode 9, and then that's the end of that. But now you've set up this new universe that if you go into Episode 10, 11, 12, you have these new characters to start new adventures, new stories, new bloodlines, the new Rey bloodline, for example. I think they've transitioned it.
Now, how do you feel about DJ?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, can we not? Can we not bring him up?
Why the stutter? That's
So
my
bad.
only question.
I with no evidence to back this up, that was 100% his choice to make his character interesting. We're talking about give me his name.
Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro's, yeah.
You look at stuff he's done. I don't really like him as an actor. I don't think he's good. I think he detracts in his acting choices. He mutters a lot. Just not a huge fan. And yes, he was a slimy, backstabbing character, but yeah, the stutter choice was quite a detractor.
Do you guys think we're going to see him again somewhere along the lines? Did they set it up? Because they did a lot of this kind of setup stuff in Force Awakens, and none of it came back. Nothing of it.
Well,
and if it did, it was just like, we're done. Forget
someone will have to fact check me on this, but I believe that like JJ wrote Force Awakens in the same way he wrote Lost. Just like, here's a cool story with a lot of loose ends, just a bunch of open endings that I had no plan for. So Rian Johnson has to come in with Last Jedi and actually find endings and find paths for these stories. I don't know. DJ could probably come back in like a Lando type of position, or not even that. But if you watch,
either way,
like you watch Rebels.
Yeah, what's his name in Rebels? Right.
You've got
the guy who talks like this.
Yeah, that guy. He's wearing the bicycle helmet on his head.
Watto.
No.
You're talking about
yeah.
But he's just a sleazebag character that comes up every once in a while when they need something or run into him.
What did you guys think about Rose?
I think Paige was better.
Her sister.
way hotter.
Oh my gosh, so hot.
Reverse casting, man. Get it right.
I was unimpressed with the character. I don't think it was necessary. I don't know.
She was too bubbly.
It wasn't a matter of bubbly. It was just a matter of why are you here? I understand you got a heart. Yes, you're bringing heart into all this. I understand you're the heart of it.
She was there to take Finn away from Rey in audiences' eyes.
But but why?
Because
what's the payoff
everybody
for this?
in Force Awakens it was Finn and Rey, Rey, and it's not going to be Finn and Rey. It's going to be Rey and Kylo, and then they needed somebody to distract Finn. In the audience's eyes.
I didn't understand why is she here?
Yeah, I was totally fine if they buddied up and had their adventure together. I thought the kiss at the end was completely unnecessary.
It's Disney. She's a princess now.
I was kind of hoping that
not a princess.
Finn was going to just take himself right into that big old can.
I didn't want Finn to die. Finn barely had an arc. He's like, I'm cool. Oh, I'm sick. No, I'm down dead.
He's Han Solo. If you go back and you watch the original trilogy, Han Solo
he's always
goes
trying to
back
escape.
and forth from going back to Jabba to pay him off and screw the rebellion to, I guess I'll help you out now since you're making out with me, Princess Leia.
Then who's supposed to be? I thought he'd be he's the Han.
No, he's
the hotshot flyboy.
He doesn't need to be a Han. Yeah. You know what character?
He's the Chewie.
A 360 flip just like that was Laura Dern's character.
Holdo.
I hated her, and then I loved her. You know?
I think that was the whole
point. And that's the idea.
Right. That's the idea. Right. And it was with her. I was just like, she's a very good character. Oh, I like her now. Like I see what she's doing. Mm-hmm. I want her to stay. And then she's like, I have to sacrifice myself for
her. She didn't need to do that.
Why do you have to throw R2-D2 C-3PO in that seat? They can figure this shit out.
That bothered me a lot.
Come on, you got droids on this ship.
We've seen it so many times. Droids going and getting a ship and flying.
Yeah.
Put a droid in autopilot.
BB-8 did it. He did like 3 different ships in this movie.
Right. So why couldn't a droid be programmed to continue? Why can't you just walk away from the helm of a ship?
Keep the spark lit. Hold on, we need you here. Get back on.
But even the other ships that were blown up first, like the captain had to stay on board. Like the thing can't just drift in space. Like, what's the problem? That bothered me a lot. However, if you had taken out the sacrifice of the other captains, I think hers would have had a lot more weight to it. Where she was like, "All right, I'm going to turn the ship around," and then light speed.
That was badass too, man.
Which is still
awesome.
I made reference to this, I think, during our Christmas episode because we couldn't really talk about anything. That is probably the most beautiful piece of cinema I've ever seen. Is that light speed crash cutting the ships in half.
Hey, did you guys' audio cut out while you were watching that scene?
Oh
like, I was watching it and like the sound just went away. I don't know. Did yours guys do that?
Crazy.
Brian, no one can hear you light speed in space. Okay?
Exactly.
It's a
It was on a movie poster.
Oh. Wait, so it was supposed to happen that way. Oh, I get it.
I think we should do a whole podcast just as like movie morons. Like, you guys, seriously, like,
Oh my god, that would last 5 minutes.
While the movie's playing.
See, that cut scene right there was her just going like,
Yeah.
you couldn't hear her.
You can't hear space. Nobody can hear you
Space.
scream.
all I know is I'm waiting for like a high def version of that to come out so I can screen grab it because I just want it as like a wallpaper on my
wallpaper.
I think
computer.
they're
So
It
bad.
was so cool.
It was nice.
How about Casino World? What'd you think?
I didn't like it.
I that was the part that was watching it and I'm going, episode 1, episode 1, episode
It's
1,
too,
episode 1,
it's
episode
too,
1, episode 1.
too earthly Americanized, I think.
Prequel.
Yeah, I'm in the definite minority here that I liked it. 'Cause
There was a giggle putting the money into BB-8. That was funny. You know,
Who was
was
Mark
like-
Hamill, by the way?
Yeah, Mark
Nugget.
Hamill.
Oh yeah, Mark
Nugget.
Hamill
What
was
was it?
he was the little
Yeah,
troll
little
that was
troll.
feeding the money in. Yeah, which okay, how was that Mark Hamill?
Cool.
The BB-8 with the money and shooting them out, that was the parts I didn't like, but the sequence overall felt very much like a live action Rebels episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
it did.
kind of made me want a Rebels episode or Rebels movie. Like I want to see a movie that kind of takes place without the Star Destroyers and X-Wings and, you know, kind of Rogue One where everyone lives.
You're so silly.
Spoiler alert.
And the horse creatures, kind of cool.
I thought it was fine. Yeah, it really felt because
Better than Acklays.
It felt
and,
too earthy to me, though.
when we got back from our Christmas trip, I borrowed Rebels season 1 and 2 from Scott. Thanks, Scott. And just binged them. And that
You're welcome.
sidetrack here. That show is fucking
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
It's phenomenal.
But I love
We need to get Nicole on
the
this
worlds and the
podcast before I
fun
go.
and the animals and the adventures that they go on and stuff. It feels very Star Wars, and that's kind of what that whole casino scene felt to me. Was like a Rebels mini movie that was in the middle of Star Wars, and I had no problem with it. I don't think it detracted from anything. I mean, it's no different. I was telling Miguel before we started recording that look at like Empire Strikes Back, the greatest goddamn movie ever made in goddamn the world.
Right.
10 lightsabers, 11. Fuck it. There's 2 lightsabers side by side. That while Luke is doing his training on Dagobah, Han and Leia are having some pointless adventure on Bespin that ends
Right.
up getting Han frozen in carbonite. So, like, who gives a shit? They're on the planet world fucking up a casino. All right. I'm cool with that.
Bombs.
I liked it. I think it.
Bombs in space. Okay. You can't have bombs in space. It doesn't work. There's no gravity.
The Dreadnought is so big, it produces its
produced
own
with
gravitational pull.
Everyone bitches about this, but I'm like, did y'all see the asteroid field scene in Empire? Because they were dropping bombs too, but y'all didn't bat an eye.
Seriously. That's
There was
why
no
I have-
problem in 1980.
that's why I vehemently want to argue every fanboy's argument about why they didn't like this movie. There's evidence
it's
from
like they
the
didn't-
the
okay.
treat.
Let me hear you,
trequel.
Let me hear you, fanboy, argue this.
Yeah.
When Luke disappeared, why didn't his hand drop down onto the rock?
Oh my god.
Because he is one with the Force.
But it's a robot
It's
hand.
a
not
motherfucking
his
movie.
hand.
He is one
Maybe it
with
was
the hand.
inside the robe and you
It
didn't
could
see
be.
it.
It could be.
Oh
It
my God,
wasn't,
are you
but it
se-
could be.
Did you seriously just bring that? Oh my God. All right.
No, I'm just going
That's
off
all
the,
you got?
I'm going off the internet, yo.
David wants the
You have a
hand.
good point. There's a good point here.
I'm going off the internet, yo.
Jesus.
The other thing, fucking this he doesn't listen. There's this moron that works at the grocery store deli counter.
Well, now if you did
I just see
listen,
Kevin just sitting there putting in some Black Forest ham going, so yeah, about Star Wars. You see that? That's pretty good.
So I walked in, I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt, so he immediately wants to start talking to me about Star Wars. And one of the things he brought up was like, well, you know, that kid at the end with the broom's going to be back in episode 9. And I'm like, no, he's fucking not. That's a symbol. He's like, well, you never know. George Lucas has changed his mind in the past. I'm like, oh, well, I could just walk away from this conversation because you have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. I was like, George Lucas sold this shit like 5 years ago.
The rings were a nice touch.
The rings.
The rings.
The Rebel
rings. Those were cool.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that was kind of cool.
That was a cool touch.
I need to get one.
Why are those not being sold at Think Geek yet?
Exactly.
Right? I can get a fucking
Think
porg
Geek.
potato masher, but I can't get a goddamn Rebel ring. I don't know if that's true or not. But actually, they should sell like porg chicken skewers.
I know they're kidding. Porg jerky.
They need like a little Chewbacca Pez that has porg little shaped Pez's.
Beef or chicken flavor.
Right.
I just need a BB-8.
It's just basically
a BB-8 with a coin.
Bullion that comes out.
Are you guys like me and have never wanted anything more in your life than to see the porg activate the lightsaber while the other one was staring at it?
Yeah.
And just go right through the dome. Right.
That was foreshadowing.
You're disturbed, man.
Of who?
Snoke.
He got cut in half. He
I
didn't
know,
take
but
it
it was
through
like
the face.
from the side.
That was the coolest scene in the whole thing, man.
That was
it
nice.
Wasn't?
Yes, it was.
No fucking way.
The coolest scene
whole
was the
battle, dude?
light,
That was
light
awesome.
speed.
That battle was awesome.
The battle, fine, but the way fucking Snoke just went.
No, that was cool, man.
No.
So people go like, "Oh, Snoke died like a bitch by being cut in half." I'm like, "Yeah, the Emperor got thrown down an elevator shaft. So what the fuck do you want?" Like, the Emperor was pretty badass and went out like a chump. So
The thing is, everyone just keeps going.
The first Star Wars was better because of this, and that. I'm like, you're not gonna get the first Star Wars again. You're not. You're simply not.
Why
the
not?
more you
Why
bitch
not?
and complain about it, because the worse it's going to be for you.
Hey, we got the first
It's
Star
what
Wars.
it is.
It was The Force Awakens, and people bitched about it.
Of
We
course
got
they
the
did.
second Star
and I
Wars.
loved
And they're
Force
always
Awakens,
gonna
and I
bitch
love
about it.
Last Jedi even more.
I felt the same way about
like
Force
Rogue One
Awakens as I did this one when I walked out. I was like, I didn't hate it. I didn't 100% love it. I need to see it again. Saw it again. I'm like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. This is suspend disbelief. Sit down there for 2.5 hours. Enjoy a fucking Star Wars movie. Go home and be happy.
So you didn't sign the petition to have
And
the
then-
movie erased from
Jesus
canon,
Christ.
right?
Listen, I was the one who penned it just because.
All of those people, they should, because you have to put your personal information on a lot of times. Just go around to their house and kick them right in the balls.
Just like Jane said
Your
with
list.
Bob's.
Your list.
There's so many lists. And even people complaining like, oh, Phasma. I'm like, okay, Phasma got thrown in a compactor in the first one, so they actually did a fan service, brought her back, let her fight Finn. It was pretty cool. And
For
she went
30
out-
seconds.
Who gives a shit? That's more than Boba Fett got to fight, and look how fucking
Okay,
awesome
so she's the
people
new
think
Boba
he-
Fett. You're gonna
Yes,
say, okay.
but at least
dead.
she got to
She's
go
not
out.
dead.
That's true. No, if her armor deflected a blaster, just falling into a fire, no one says she's
good.
dead.
Nah, she's not dead.
I'm gonna see her
She'll
come
be
back with like
She's flying around with
Darth Maul
Princess
robot
Leia.
legs.
Robot legs.
She's gonna go home to Endor because she's the little girl from Ewok City.
Yeah, that's exactly what she is.
It's a little.
Sindel.
She all grew up.
Yeah, Sindel.
So I don't know. I love that they brought her
Star
back
Cruiser
and she had to
Crash?
fight. The Praetorian Guards actually did something versus
Freaking awesome.
Return of the Jedi.
Dude,
They
they
were
were
just-
Badass,
I don't
man.
give a fuck. Go beat the shit. I don't give
As
a fuck.
much as I like ninjas and the G.I. Joe ninjas and shit like that,
There we go.
Uh-oh.
to me that was just a Snake Eyes versus Red Ninja scene right there.
Nope.
But they did
lightsabers.
something.
I know, but it was just like
That's
They
a
weren't ninjaing.
halfway decent choreography.
come
Yeah,
on.
they
That
were
was
doing.
martial arts right
that.
there.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was
It was awesome.
I don't know. it
That was
just
like
felt-
jujitsu and all sorts of.
Like I like that they all had a different weapon and a different like helmet and like they weren't like they all
They're
seemed
teams
to
of
have
two.
like a purpose.
Teams of two.
Yeah. So
Really awesome.
the scene looked cool. It's like the backdrop got burned away. and you're
Their
just-
armor actually did
It
stuff.
was just space curtains. And
Really brings
and
the room together, doesn't
and
it?
so you got all like just that scene
Yeah,
really
they were
worked
just
for me. I liked
badass.
it.
They saw their leader dead and they were like, "Fuck this,
We're
we're kicking
taking
some
you out."
ass." Yeah.
We're gonna die,
I
but
think they were
mean,
just doing last man standing gets to rule. So
yeah,
That could be that too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, shit, Snoke's dead.
I am supreme
Half
leader
day?
now.
Like half day. Let's get out of here.
You want to go get some?
Oh fuck!
Blue milk?
I don't know
punching
who
you.
all was within earshot. So we did our Christmas card photo. We went to the mall, right? It was the day after Last Jedi came out.
okay,
Is when
Yeah.
right? Okay. So we go into GameStop, and the kid behind the counter is all like, "Hey, you want to buy a Snoke? Want to buy a Snoke?" I'm like, "Is it half off?" And thank God he'd seen the movie and got the joke and laughed really hard. And I realized, fuck, I may have just like totally like Han Solo'd it up in here and like spoiled an ending or something. Sorry, Gary. I'm still mad at myself from 2 years ago for. I could have sworn Gary had seen Force Awakens, and so I made up this. It was an ad for a Halloween costume.
Yeah, I remember the saber.
Where it looked like a lightsaber going through Han Solo, and I sent it to Gary, and he's like, "Something happened in the movie. I haven't seen it yet." I'm like,
son of a bitch,
I know.
asshole.
All right, so that's our take on Last Jedi. You guys would all recommend people go see it,
Yes,
right? If they
100%.
haven't.
Definitely.
100%.
Green milk.
Just
Straight
remember,
from
it's
the
a
teat.
fucking movie.
Straight from the teat.
And that didn't even. Before we move on, that,
What the fuck was that?
Yes, it was gross, but hey, look, space cows, and now we know where blue milk comes from.
It's a moof.
That's a space cow, really?
It
Luke
didn't
Skywalker
bother-
is a moof milker. All right? See? Yeah.
Okay, so on Tatooine, they import milk from like the hardest to find planet in the entire universe.
Oh, it's a different
Yeah.
milk, man.
It's milk. It's blue milk.
Green milk and blue milk, different milks, man.
It looked blue to me. The coloring was off, but it definitely a nod to hey,
Nice
look,
and
blue
thick.
milk.
Right, exactly.
And
Okay.
it totally didn't bother me at all.
What color is Sideshow Bob's hair? Blue or green?
It's like a reddish orange.
Yeah.
Sideshow Bob.
I'm sorry, Krusty the Clown.
Oh, green.
Oh,
yeah,
it's a bluish
Same
green.
that,
Bluish
same
green.
that.
Okay.
Teal.
It's
All
aqua.
right, fair enough, because I got into an argument a long time ago. Like, his hair is blue. No, it's green. It's fucking blue.
Marge's is blue. His
Marge is blue.
blue.
Now his is like
His is
a
green.
His
teal.
is like a teal.
It's a teal
It's got
bluish
like a
green.
seaweed.
It's like an
type
aqua
Yeah.
mixed with
teal.
turquoise, sea breeze mint.
I just wanted to
Is
do
the
the carpets
rest
match the curtain.
Oh, speaking of Seabreeze mint,
What the fuck?
Whoa.
how about that new Millennium Falcon, guys?
The
Oh,
aluminum Falcon?
Now
The Kessel Run.
that I believe was a leaked product image.
Probably a mistake, I'm sure.
Well, because I posted it on Instagram and I got a really angry letter from Instagram that it had been pulled for copyright infringement reasons.
Really? Wow.
And I was like, okay, hashtagged it the wrong way. It got the wrong eyeballs on it. But
Explain to our guys what it is.
okay, so it's called the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon, and
It's a Lego set.
A Lego set. But you know how the Millennium Falcon has the notch in the front of it?
Yeah, for the cargo.
Correct. The correct way. This one, that notch is filled in, and the front of the Millennium Falcon continues on in sort of a pie wedge
point.
to a point. Why? I don't even care about the coloring. It's got a
It's
whole bunch of
space spoiler, fool, for that Kessel Run.
space spoiler. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Picks up more speed, but it doesn't even look like it's got a place where that would detach, so which would
doesn't,
make me think that
Well,
the Millennium
the thing here,
Falcon
mine
fucking
was
noses
modded,
into
yeah.
something.
My
and-
thought is the Millennium Falcon, the YT-1330, the YT-1300, it's a modular vehicle, so you can swap things out left and right.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's just.
I don't know.
it's a
I saw
different-
some official
different use.
Star Wars handbook about
I have
vehicles,
one.
and it showed that
It's
the
three-dimensional.
way
It's
that
awesome.
there's a notch on that is how it will dock with the big shipping container, and that's why the pilot
Is on the
seat is
side.
way off on the side, so
Right.
they can see past the container.
Right.
Made perfect sense. Great. This one's got a big
This one
point on
totally
it for some
ruins it. Yeah.
Yeah, to make it faster.
Maybe it's
Harder
for Hoff.
penetration.
Yeah,
I
deeper
just-
Who leaked that picture?
penetration.
You know.
I don't know where it came from. I eventually got it from one of you guys and just put it on
Nerdist.
online.
If you go watch the Nerdist about it, Nerdist podcast or not Nerdist podcast, but the
TV show.
the daily thing that they do. They actually have an artist's rendition, so they didn't get in trouble. Basically, they just drew the exact same damn thing on a piece of paper.
Who fixed it? You fixed it.
I
huh?
did. Yeah, I crudely with the stylus on my phone just painted out the front, but there I fucking fixed it.
Fix it.
But yeah, so the Kessel Run. So apparently that artwork, I think, came out of Russia first, where it shows Han and Lando and Chewie
It was a big deal. It made the
and
news.
the girl.
Made the real news.
Yeah, the real new.
Yeah. It made the
Okay,
real
what about this? What if it crashes? Like Jedi, we lose the. Bing,
You're gonna stab somebody if you crashes.
And then you see it back in Force Awakens got a new antenna. What if it crashes? And then like the whole front end's all.
No, I think
Okay,
Han
all right,
modifies
And then they
it.
just well, we gotta pull all this stuff off and put something else on it.
All right, so the original Falcon radar dish was round. The
Right.
Force Awakens radar dish is rectangle. So the pre Star Wars radar dish was going to be triangle, right?
Yeah. Nugget. It's ready for this. Ready? The Force Awakens rectangle. It's the same one that's on the blockade runners. It's the same radar dish.
No, that makes sense.
So Bet you didn't know that, did you? Nugget.
Nuggets.
I want some ketchup with that nugget, fool.
Okay. I'll give you some.
Put ketchup on your nuggets.
Everybody knows you put honey on nuggets.
Honey.
Oh,
yeah.
Put
Sweet
that
and sour
honey on
sauce,
that
man.
nugget, baby.
Yeah. I prefer the sweet. You guys been to Cane's Chicken? Raising Cane's?
No.
I just
They
saw
are
one.
opening
I'm like,
up
what
one,
is that?
so-
There's one over by
Just as
Walmart
a
in San
food
Bernardino.
side note,
Or
since we're talking about chicken, yeah, Raising Cane's.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, all they do is chicken strips. That's it. Like super simple. You can get like coleslaw and a piece of bread. That's it. Super.
Really?
Yeah. Very basic. They're like the in and out
I
of
was
chicken
just gonna
joints.
say that.
It's a fish and chip.
So
of
fucking
chicken and
good.
chip.
Sweet. I don't like chicken strips. I don't like fried chicken. I fucking love this
I
place.
don't like anything that strips. So
So there you go.
Me too.
Take it from a guy who doesn't eat fried chicken. That it's awesome. But yeah,
Trust me, I hate fried chicken.
no,
Here.
it's all white meat. You can tell it's quality.
Racist.
Pieces of meat.
This is quality meat. This is quality.
you work for H&M, don't you?
Yeah.
How would you know what quality meat is if you don't like chicken?
Because I eat chicken, I don't eat fried chicken.
Because I have some quality meat.
How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Right. All right. What else did we talked before the show?
Right.
Oh,
Bright.
Netflix. Bright.
Speaking of chicken,
I need to
have
see-
You,
have
have
not
you
seen.
seen Bright?
Makes no sense.
It's the other
This is going to be
white
the
meat.
Segway show. That's what the title is, a Segway show. It's like
Right.
non sequitur. What?
Yeah. So Bright. It's Will Smith. He plays a Los Angeles police officer, and he gets teamed up with an orc, the first orc ever to be on the police force. But it's a movie that Netflix. What are you laughing at?
Your fucking dog's tail looks like a damn Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, well, so we have a dog here in the studio. We have two dogs. One of them's sleeping, and the other one decided to stand up, and his tail is wagging right at the bottom of the frame. His name is Zool. And he's a
I
good.
just want to know, where's his head right now?
Licking some peanut butter.
Why is there a jar of peanut butter over there?
He's looking for Miguel's butterscotch kisses.
I think he's going for Brian's Nuggets.
No, hold on.
Anyways, back to it's Netflix's first produced feature film. They've backed a whole bunch of documentaries, comedy specials. It's their first feature film. It takes place in a world where orcs, fairies, elves all coexist. This world exists. They didn't just appear.
I love how they beat the shit out of that fairy, though. That was fucking
Yeah,
hilarious.
So
Apparently-
it's not space aliens. They're
Nope.
It's
okay.
alien
No, they're
fantasy
just
too.
orcs and-
Kind of think World of Warcraft, but in present day.
Present day.
Oh god.
Right? The elves are super rich and run everything. The orcs, because of bad decisions made thousands of years ago, are basically like street thugs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gangsters.
Gangsters, and then
So
fairies
the
are
cop
like
that's
vermin.
an orc is basically outcasted by the rest of the orcs.
Correct. They cover all that in the movie, but yeah, it's called being blooded, and so
Spoiler.
Blood out, eh?
Now it's not really relevant to the story too much. I mean, it is, but not as a spoiler. So he's not part of his orc clan. So
Did you watch it?
He joins the police force.
I have seen
Do you know who
yes.
plays the orc?
No.
Young Uncle Owen from Star Wars.
Not so
Prequels.
young anymore.
Holy crap, that was him.
Yeah.
That
He was
explains
just in a-
why
he
the
was
orc
just-
was drinking blue milk the whole time.
Maybe.
Did you see? He's also in a new one. I was like, oh, that's the same guy from with the new what's her name? The hot girl from the arrows and shooting.
Speedy,
No. What's the one where she's
the show Arrow.
Oh,
Katniss
Mockingjay?
Everdeen.
Yeah, Katniss Everdeen. Whatever.
hot
What's her
girl.
name? Why can I not remember her name?
I'm gonna let you
Anyway.
struggle.
Yeah.
She played Mystique.
Yeah, she played Mystique. Yes, that's right.
Silver Linings Playbook.
She's in a new movie where she plays a
Jennifer?
Russian spy.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
mean-
yeah.
You mean
He
Black
plays-
Widow? Oh, I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly,
yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, no,
I was
it's,
kinda like,
well, it's even
Black
called like Red something.
Widow? Yeah, Red Sonja or something like that.
No, that's
Brigitte Nielsen's in it as her mom, and yeah, he's in that with her, and I'm like, oh, wow, that makeup is still the makeup,
yes.
fucking phenomenal. I'm gonna just holy shit,
Yeah.
really good.
Special
Way
effects were
impressive.
great. The
Fantastic.
story was great. The comedy that they worked in was really good. I will say, because I didn't know what to expect, and the trailer looked fucking awful. So I went in
Yeah.
with low expectations, and that's usually the best way I think to get the best
anything.
movie. Is like, hey guys,
Nowadays.
nerds, I'm gonna take a side. Nerds, listen up. Star Wars Episode 9 will be coming out in about 2 years. If you just go in with zero expectations, you might actually fucking enjoy it. So, the more you know.
Okay, date is
Anyways, the first 5 minutes or so, you're figuring out the tone. Like, is this thing serious? Is it funny? It's a little of both. What's it trying to do? But then it gets up to speed pretty much right away.
I wouldn't say
Is it Will Smith in
like when
every
he's in
other
his
Will
house
Smith
and
movie?
No, he actually looks very tired in this. Like, it's like he's catching up with his age.
Old.
Okay.
He looks old.
He's not Uncle Phil old yet, but
he's not Danny Glover
Actually,
old
I
yet.
think he's actually older than
He
Uncle
is.
Phil was when he actually played in the show.
When he did
Right.
when
When
he
he
did
originally did the
Suicide Squad,
right.
he was older than Uncle Phil was and
Right.
all that crap.
It took. I enjoyed it, so I highly recommend going to see it. But it did take a little bit longer than 5 minutes to kind of get.
Yeah,
I'm gauging.
There's some pacing stuff.
Yeah, there is a few
it kinda
pacing issues.
When it gets going, it really gets going, and it's also one thing. Like I recommended it to my mom, and she loves stuff like that. But it was very violent. There's a lot of brutality. in it.
Yes.
So if you're sensitive to that, you're a pussy. Then don't watch it.
Danny Glover old? Like,
No,
I'm too old for this
I'm
shit?
too old for this shit. No, he's just. He's not.
He's not-
Will
well,
Smith.
the
He's
thing
not
is
like
he's not happy to be
bubbly,
teamed up
He's
with
not
the
happy
orc.
to be teamed up with the orc.
He doesn't
he's not
want
happy
that
with
at
the
all.
situations
he's
in.
grumpy cop.
Yeah.
He's
Right,
grumpy
well, there's
cop,
a
So
stigma
he's
to-
Kay
well, he's
from
been-
but he's also-
Men in Black.
He got shot because
Danny
of the
Glover.
orc, right?
In Lethal Weapon, he's like, I don't want to be with this guy.
Well,
He's
it's
crazy.
because he's dangerous and he's
dangerous.
But
Yeah.
but in
Loose
this
cannon.
world, the orc is an outcast, and I feel like this had a really well crafted like mythology to the world that everybody existed in. Like there was without bogging you down, also in like an hour of exposition.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
real
You
easy
just-
to like kind of come across like, okay, the elves are in this position and the orcs are in this position, and it felt like a very full crafted world that existed.
You
And
just
we
had
didn't
to
need the
accept it
exposition.
like,
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it's
alright,
like,
cool,
it's
I
like
get
it's
it.
always
Humans.
been like that. It's like
Yeah.
it's
They
always-
give you a lot of setup in the opening credits too, with all the graffiti that's around town. That kind of fills you in on like, okay, so the elves are this, and the orcs are that, and the humans are this, and okay, all right, I kind of see what's going on, and that was a clever way to fill in some holes as a viewer.
Loved the ending. The ending was good.
predictable.
Yeah, predictable.
Yeah.
but it was good.
Yeah, and the one thing that kind of was a cool tie was the guy swinging the sword in the middle of the street, crazy guy. Mm-hmm. So you have a crazy guy, but he's not just your total nutcase. He's a warrior, and these orcs are all over the place, and he hates them, and he needs to battle the orcs like his forefathers did, and that just brings more depth into the whole thing. And it was a good choice.
Yeah, and even like when they're driving around town, like a lot of it's like rundown LA ghetto kind of stuff. But then when they go into like the elf town, like everything is like shiny and gold plated. It's like a Trump wet dream.
It's huge.
Is Halloween Town still there?
Yeah. So, anyways, I totally give it a recommend. What do you guys?
Recommend.
I'll check it out.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Miguel is a good example here, where he was on the fence and kind of thought, I've heard weird things, but I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, like you said, the trailer kind of was like, huh.
Trailer turned me
So,
off.
I
but
mean, to me, I grew up in the 80s where it was alienation. And, the way they portrayed it was like alienation. I was like,
kind of. And Dave, you called it what, like a training day meets
Training
Yeah,
Daily
yeah.
Nation.
well, he's on the other side of the
It's like
Training
Lord of the
Day.
Rings training day.
Yeah,
it's pretty
exactly.
good. So anyway, so yeah, that's our I would say that's our Netflix
Yeah, just got
recommendation. For sure.
part 2 just got greenlit. So
Yep.
Nice. All right.
Brighter. It's a show.
Brighter,
Check it
yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Give
Brighter.
it
And
a
super bright,
And the third's gonna be brightest.
rainbow
Brightest.
bright.
No, it's brights.
Oh my god, he's bright.
Lemon lime brights. No,
Yeah.
scratch that. That was dumb.
Do any of the orcs have a jewel in their belly?
No.
No, it's not a troll.
It's not a troll.
Oh.
That's different.
Dave Chappelle. I haven't watched it yet, but his next Netflix comedy special is up.
Both were
seen it.
fantastic.
He had 2 more.
They dropped 2.
Nice. So he's got
Yeah.
4 now total. That you
Yeah,
can
there
watch.
was one that was like on New Year's Eve or something like that.
Okay.
I didn't watch it. I watched it like the next day or something like that, and I sat there. Oh, this guy's so fucking funny. I love him so much.
That's on
he
my
makes some
watch
really
list.
damn great points, like
Yeah.
just social
Yeah.
commentary. It's just, and that's what he's good at. He's like, you know what, I talk about pussy, vagina, all this other shit, blah blah blah. But you know what's funny? It's fucking funny.
Right.
And then he's talking about Trump, and he's like, he makes a good maybe Trump is here for a reason, and maybe that reason is going to just. He actually, I think he alludes to Star Wars, where he says, maybe he's here and he's doing all this stuff, and he needs to do all this stuff to bring everybody together.
You need like a
flip.
unifying
Yeah, a unifying
hate almost to
change.
sadly,
everything.
I agree with that in a scary way. Like,
Yeah,
he is and is going to continue to do horrible things to this country, but it will actually unify us as a country in a common. Well, yeah, I know. I do it, and it is starting to unify both parties and the country as a whole against a common focused. I'll just use the word evil to actually turn things around and go in a different direction. It's a shame that so much shit is getting fucked up and is going to get fucked up in the process. But
right, and it's going to have to be rewrited and then.
Good old Dave Chappelle, huh?
And seriously, like it was some
hilarious.
What a funny guy.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend.
All right, yeah, we try not to get too much into the
no more politics.
Sorry. Optimus Prime has
Trump
a huge
2020.
boner. If you're watching the video right now, you can see Optimus Prime's. Turn that sideways. Get a good profile of Robert's
fetish
8-year-old
and he's
mind.
got a porn stash too. Porn stash on that's amazing.
Let me see. I didn't see.
It's Robo Jeremy.
Oh my god! I have to take. We'll post a photo of that later.
Optimus Hedgehog.
Oh Jesus! Oh.
He
That was a good. That was a good. Good break for from getting heavy. Thanks, Dave Chappelle. But
Thanks,
we're getting close to wrapping this up. You guys have any more news before I play our stupid game?
I like stupid games.
Okay.
Stupid game.
So this is a stupid game that I'm calling Superfoods.
Very stupid game.
Okay. I'm gonna arbitrarily award points as I see fit. It's basically take a superhero like Spider-Man. And modify his name to be like a food, so he's Spider Ham. Huh?
But you realize Spider Ham is actually a pig, so it's not because he's a food.
Spider Pig.
Well, yeah.
Spider Pig.
Okay, all right. How about
Spider Pig?
Spider Spam.
all right, no? How about bread pool? Huh?
Right. Quit stealing them.
Or
Quit stealing them.
Daredeviled eggs.
Okay.
See where we're going with this?
You just
That's a
took all
before
three
and
of
after.
mine.
All right.
That's like
It's all the ones I knew.
All right. So just step on each other. Let's hear them. This is improv game. Go.
God damn it.
Iron Ham.
Nah.
no.
Oh, what the hell?
Roast-
Spider Ham
It's,
works?
it's
I
not.
got
Ju-
one.
it's not just replacing a word like Captain Asparagus. You want.
I wonder who's the dumbass who came up with that.
It's about puns and wordplay.
How about Roast Rider?
Yeah.
I like that.
That's good.
Sounds like Ghost.
I'd say roast beef rider.
No, Roast Rider. All right, point for Dave.
Taking it from me.
Come on, Brian, you're good at this shit.
Yeah, but I'm going to go to somebody else. I think I got to think.
All right, I'll give you a point if you can remember the one you said like an hour and a half ago.
Nope. Captain American Cheese.
Chewy Baka?
No, it's not a superhero. Chewy. Chewy Bacon.
It was Wonder Bread Woman.
Yeah, whatever.
Super Ham?
No, you're just
replacing ham.
super spam.
everything ham with the man.
I need a superhero.
I'm thinking like a collard greens lantern.
Black Licorice Widow?
Oh, I
Very
like
good point for Robert.
That's
There you
it.
go.
Got a point.
All right, so we got a tie 1-1.
Some
Come on,
Sandwich
Miguel.
Mariner. I don't know.
Sandwich Mariner.
Submarine Mariner.
Subway Mariner.
God damn it.
Not
Ham
as easy when
Solo.
Not a superhero.
Black
He is in my
Forest
eyes.
Panther?
Wow.
Like Black Forest Ham.
you're getting that's in the neighborhood. I'll give you a point.
It's not really a food. Well,
Black Forest Ham is a food.
but you didn't say ham. You said Black Forest Panther.
What other food is Black
It
Forest?
doesn't
Cake?
matter.
Black Forest.
Black Forest
yeah.
cake.
No, I'm thinking of German chocolate cake. Sorry,
German?
is Black
Yeah.
Forest a cake?
Yeah.
Now we're gonna argue. This is food argument
This
talk.
food argument time. My name's Brian.
God damn it.
Superhero.
Mighty Kids Milthor.
How about instead of Quasar, Quishar?
You're digging this.
Quishar?
Oh wow.
No,
You're
I don't
digging
like it.
deep. Yeah, you're digging deep.
Too much of a stretch. Uh huh. What do you
The
think?
Incredible Yolk.
Oh, I was just thinking. No, that doesn't work.
The Incredible Bulk.
No,
Food
yeah, bulk food.
Costco.
I was thinking the Incredible Bulgur Wheat. What the f- that doesn't make any sense. Oh God, I am doing so poorly at
The
this.
sad thing is I'm picturing these as like fucking characters now.
Yeah, right.
Drum.
We're gonna put Scott on this. He's gonna draw up all these.
I know, right?
Right now, Scott is literally saying out loud, "No, I'm not."
5-minute sketches.
Okay, we're gonna have to heavily edit this because I'm stupid.
No, I'm leaving.
I'm just trying to think of superheroes.
I know. I know.
Fucking superheroes.
We're a nerd pod.
Jesus
What's a
Christ.
superhero name? I don't know.
Does it work better with DC characters? Does it work better with...
Yeah, I know, right? Think of like I don't know, Juggernaut or
I know you got it.
Wolverine. Tangerine. That's just, but with claws. Oh no, saltarines, right? No, because they're cracker. Cracker beach. No, all right. Nothing.
God damn it!
I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna drive home and be like, there's gonna be 16 of them in my head.
How about Moon Pie Night?
Ooh, I like that. All right, I think Robert's running away with it. Anything?
Got nothing.
Bat spam.
Bat spam.
Bat spam.
Nope.
Spam man.
No.
Man.
No.
Mandango. Manwich. Mayo.
And I think we've run aground. I told you this was a stupid game. All right, Robert's our winner. Listeners, if you were thinking of your own and shouting them
Post
out,
them.
drop us a line on any of our social media. You can reach us at nerdswithattitudepodcast.com. And there you have click-through links to all of our social media through Facebook and Instagram, Twitters, all that stuff. Pretty much anywhere, if you put in Nerds with Attitude Podcast, you're going to find us. Drop us a line. Let us know what your superfood is.
And don't say kale.
Not a superfood.
Don't say kale. Kale L.
Kale
L.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Coming in after the buzzer.
Oh.
Sorry.
Hawk
Tex
pie.
Mex Luther.
How about hawk pie?
Where? See, you guys
It finally fucking hit.
I told you, you're going to be getting texts on the way home. Kevin, dude, I got it.
Sugar jelly.
No. Don't know what that is. So
That's not your stripper's name.
also important, through our website, there's a click to our store. If you wouldn't mind, please support the podcast. You can buy any of our fine merchandise, T-shirts, like I am wearing or Dave is wearing over here.
Or Walmart.
You can buy Brian's personal laundry and then clean it and send it back to him. You can also buy stickers, buttons. The podcast is free to listen to, but it is not free to produce. Microphones and headphones and the broadband space to actually host a podcast costs money. And with your support, we would really appreciate some of your support.
We need more.
Could have said that better. I don't care. We don't actually make a penny either. All of the podcast is all supported out of our pockets, and we could use a little help. So if you like what you're hearing, drop something. You can get some really cool swag in return, and help us out and keep making really good episodes. So with that in mind, I think it's time to take this train wreck out of here. We'll be back next time with show notes, I promise.
And little nuggets.
And Scott
will be back. We'll have Brian's nuggets all in one place. We're going to have them grouped together like in a basket.
Weapon checks.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Christ.
See, I'm telling you, Miguel's like an unstoppable force now, man. You can keep your wife up all night with these.
God.
So that was good. Weapon checks.
my brain hurts.
Brian, why don't you get this thing out of here?
All right, it's been good seeing you guys today. Thanks for joining us on the YouTubes. This has been Brian B.
All right, hey guys, I'm sorry we didn't bring up Voltron for Robert here,
Son of a...
but
We'll have time.
We'll get it next time.
Next time.
This has been Dave.
Robert. With the porn stash.
Don't you mean Robert?
And I've been Peter Porker, and you guys all keep it dirty.
Magic Museum.
Spider-Man.